Tim was alluding to, and what all of us have been talking about, the challenges ahead of us. We opened another location here a year and a half ago up in Two Harbors, and everybody, the naysayers were everywhere, and yet now it's taxing our current system to have a tied house in Two Harbors, and nice problem. It's a real nice problem, but a problem nonetheless. And again, it's educating that customer that comes in that the evil empire, I like to call them, are not your only choices in life. You can actually buy something from an American if you made the beer.
Yeah.
I think if you, on that note, there's a book out called Dethroning the King. That's an eye-opener, and it would make you a craft beer drinker if you read that book.
Let's move on to another question here. This is kind of getting into the law side of things. Why don't Duluth brew pubs head across the bridge to Wisconsin, where laws may be more favorable, start a production brewery there like Barley John's has indicated they may do? What are the challenges, again, what are the challenges in the law of operating a brewery in Minnesota and Duluth? How does that compare to just across the border there?
Well, I'll address that. I think there's a huge fear of taking on the giant right now. That's a joke. You know, actually, the laws in Superior, that was a joke. I'm kidding. The laws in Superior, and you guys jump in where you want to. I mean, right now we are a manufacturer, we are a wholesaler, and we are a distributor. So we can do anything that we want to, any day of the week that we want to. And actually, it makes things a lot easier. When we moved to Superior, when we were in Superior, one of the things that I really, really appreciated was the paperwork. Because guess who didn't have to do it? Me. The city came up and they walked me through it. They took me step by step through it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is exactly what I want." And every year I get an envelope mailed to me. All the paperwork's done. All I have to do is sign it and pay for it. I'm in. Duluth, can you imagine doing that? Anyway, go ahead, Ed.
I would love to address this question. I mean, I'd gone through the inspections with Rick Sauer over in Superior when he moved his location to Steve's location. And it was kicking the tires, you should do this, do that, okay, call this 800 number in Madison, getting a welcoming phone call or back from a regulatory agency saying, "Oh, that's great, we're gonna have to get up there, try your beer, good luck, all the best." Minnesota, not so much. We had made the mistake in our federal application, and it was our federal inspector who brought it to our attention. I had put down Carmody Irish Pub and Brewery. Can't do it in Minnesota. I could be brewing, I could be brew pub. So I said, all right, give me a few minutes, let's go through and I'll white out the 60-page application where I had mentioned no, reapply. That put us in the hole, just about $60,000. It's that administrative mindset that is the difference between, I love to go over to Wisconsin, over to Steve's place on Wednesdays because I've left the country. You know, I've left England and I've gone to France, a little more laissez-faire. Now, Fulton Street, or Fulton Brewing, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there because he can turn around and be a production brewery and be a retail brewery all at the same time, and yet distribute back into Minnesota.
Are you talking about Barley John's?
Barley John's.
Barley John's?
And, yeah.
Because the way I understand the law, he's going to be able to have a production brewery in Wisconsin, but since he owns a brew pub still in the state of Minnesota, he's not going to be able to distribute that beer in Minnesota. So it's going to be statewide distribution in Wisconsin, but not in Minnesota. So
you actually have to have a distributor.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's why we don't do Brewfest in Minnesota, is because we would have to buy a license to have our beer sold to a distributor, then we would have to buy it back from that distributor to sell, to give it away for free at a festival. And you guys are, and Tim has been very instrumental in actually making things like that more easy.
Minnesota's actually looking at this year, and it'll be good for the brew pubs, and that we'll be able to hopefully sell our beer at festivals and fairs. So that's a bill that's, actually the Brewers Guild is working on, so.
You know, the next thing I'd like to see, I love one of his beers. Really love one of your beers. I already have your beers. I would like to be able to have on tap, you know, I have 32 other beers on tap other than the Force Core and then the seasonal. I would like to have everyone else's beers too. I mean, that's my frustration. And hopefully, after we get through this and Growler on Sunday. Yeah, Growler's on Sunday. Thank you.
Come on over, we're open.
And Rock, that's right.
Yeah.
So there is some current legislation to do Sunday growler sales